Hello, fight fans. Thanks for joining us at MMA Insider. Before we get rolling with today's news, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now let's uncover the latest happenings in MMA. Starting off, Dana White explains apprehension to allow Alex Pereira to pursue heavyweight title shot after UFC 303. Moving on, Jiří Procházka breaks silence after head kick knockout loss at UFC 303. Next, Shavkat Rakhmonov responds to call out from Ian Garry following UFC 303. Moving on, Michael Chandler takes aim at Conor McGregor following UFC 303. Lastly, Jon Jones eyes potential clash with Alex Pereira following UFC 303 victory. UFC CEO Dana White isn't keen on the idea of Alex Pereira moving up to heavyweight to potentially cement himself into the history books. Pereira defeated former title holder Jiří Procházka in the UFC 303 main event on Saturday night in Las Vegas. Just seconds into the second round, Pereira caught Procházka with a head kick to retain the belt. After Pereira aced his latest octagon test, pundits including Joe Rogan pitched the UFC light heavyweight champion possibly moving up to heavyweight. The UFC star has hinted at fighting at least one time at heavyweight before he hangs up the gloves. Super fights between Pereira and Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, and the other top heavyweights could set pay-per-view records. Despite this, White feels Pereira still has a ways to go in the division he reigns. During the UFC 303 post-fight press conference, White was asked about his lack of excitement for Pereira's potential heavyweight move. Here is what he said. "It's not that I'm not into it. The guy was a middleweight, then moves up to light heavyweight. He's had a couple fights there, defended his title, but it's not like this guy has been in the division for 2 years and he ran through everyone that's in the division. I think that when you think about when those two squared off, these guys are monsters, man. They're big guys. Imagine they were both middleweights at one time, as good as Jon Jones is. When Jon Jones was moving up to heavyweight, we were like, this is going to be interesting." White's comments are a bit surprising, given his past tendency to welcome multi-division championship pursuits. But as Jones gets ready to face Stipe Miocic later this year, the heavyweight title picture is already clogged with talent. Pereira is one of the top pound-for-pound MMA fighters just a handful of fights into his professional career. He captured the then-vacant light heavyweight title at UFC 295 before defeating Jamal Hill in April. If Pereira captured a third division title, he would be the first UFC fighter to accomplish such a feat. But it seems that White has other plans in mind for Pereira before he dives into uncharted waters. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Jiří Procházka has issued his first remarks after his second loss to Alex Pereira on Saturday. Pereira finished Procházka just 13 seconds into the second round in the UFC 303 main event. The light heavyweight title holder landed a massive head kick that floored Procházka as he retained the UFC title. It was a disappointing setback for Procházka after taking the short-notice fight just weeks after a come-from-behind win over Aleksandar Rakic at UFC 300. Before that, he lost to Pereira for the then-vacant UFC light heavyweight title in November. Procházka won't make excuses for his performance and instead is looking forward to using it as a catalyst for evolution. In a recent post on X, Procházka addressed his loss at UFC 303. Here is what he said. "Hello everyone. Thank you for all your support. Thanks to you, Alex Pereira, for the fight. Only one thing is on my mind. I need to evolve to the next level, or don't fight again. Simple, to be the strongest, this is the way. Thank you. See you in the gym." Procházka is expected to take an extended absence after his second knockout loss in his last 3 appearances, although he could potentially return by the end of 2024. Procházka's second loss to Pereira puts him back on the outside looking in when it comes to the light heavyweight title picture. Since defeating Glover for the belt at UFC 275, he's lost 2 of his last 3 fights and underwent extensive shoulder surgery. Jiří Procházka has also hinted at a potential move to middleweight before his UFC career concludes. He's competed at light heavyweight and heavyweight during his professional MMA career. As Procházka ponders his next move, he's looking forward to bouncing back in his next UFC appearance. Shavkat Rakhmonov has sent a frightening message to Ian Garry following the latter's victory at UFC 303. Ian Garry picked up a pretty substantial win. He was able to defeat Michael Venom Page via unanimous decision, keeping his unbeaten run intact in the process. Alas, while he may have had his hand raised, it certainly wasn't the most convincing of performances. Still, regardless of what anyone thinks, the Irishman is still on track to make a real push for the UFC welterweight championship. Another man who is on the verge of getting a crack at the belt is none other than Shavkat Rakhmonov. Following the event, Garry gave his thoughts on Shavkat, with the latter responding to him on social media. Hear what they said. "Look, I'm gonna have a chat with Hunter and Dana later on, figure out what's next. There's some big names, there's some cool matchups. You know, there's Shavkat, 18-0, undefeated. I'd love to get my hands on him. I've trained with him. I've got nothing but respect for the guy, but I wanna be the first guy to take his 0, and I know I can do it. I've just beat the fastest guy in the division other than me. When it comes to striking and skills, I can do it. When it comes to grappling, we've seen the growth that I've had. I'm excited to go out there and prove it against someone like him. Looks like Ian forgot what happened during those training sessions. I don't mind reminding him in the future. What do you believe will happen if they collide? Michael Chandler has taken aim at Conor McGregor following the conclusion of last night's UFC 303 event. As we know, Alex Pereira knocked out Jiří Procházka last night in the main event of UFC 303. It served as the conclusion to International Fight Week, which featured some fun attractions for mixed martial arts fans across the globe. Of course, that wasn't the original main event. The main event was set to see Conor McGregor return after 3 years to battle it out with Michael Chandler. Unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition. That was due to a broken toe sustained by McGregor, who made it crystal clear that he doesn't want to fight with an injury again. That was the case 3 years ago in his trilogy bout with Dustin, with his broken leg leading him down the path of a pretty long recovery. Michael Chandler, meanwhile, is getting sick and tired of waiting for Conor to get back in the cage. In the wake of UFC 303's conclusion, Chandler sent a pretty clear message to his rival. Here is what he said. "There you go, ice that pinky toe and put your big boy pants on." Nobody can blame Michael Chandler for getting a bit impatient. It's been a long wait for him, and at this moment in time, there's no clarity regarding when he'll actually get his rescheduled showdown with McGregor. Jon Jones eyes potential clash with Alex Pereira following UFC 303 victory. Following Alex Pereira's impressive victory at UFC 303 and his announced move to the heavyweight division, Jon Jones has wasted no time in staking his claim and setting his terms. Known for his bold statements and confidence, Jones expressed his willingness to face Pereira under specific conditions. Here is what he said: "When I beat Miocic, I might give him a chance, but only if he beats Aspinall." Reflecting on his own capabilities, Jones exuded confidence in his ability to dominate Pereira if they were to meet in the octagon. Here is what he said: "It would be an easy night for me. I would choke him out just like I did to Gain. I'm the king of the jungle." Jones's remarks have sparked considerable interest and speculation within the MMA community, with both fighters possessing formidable skills and a history of success in their respective divisions. A potential matchup between Jon Jones and Alex Pereira promises to be a highly anticipated event, should all the pieces fall into place. Fans and analysts alike will undoubtedly keep a close watch on developments as the landscape of UFC's heavyweight division continues to evolve. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Your dedication and support fuel our passion to bring you the latest and greatest in the MMA world. If you enjoyed today's news, please give us a thumbs up and share it with fellow MMA fans. Remember to subscribe to stay in the loop with daily MMA updates. We've got a lot of exciting news, interviews, and analysis coming your way every single day. Your engagement helps us grow and serve the MMA community even better. Once again, thank you for being an integral part of our daily MMA journey.